Om Jnana Trimindasya Jnanangana Salakaya Chaksu Sumilita Yena Tasmasi Gurave Namaha Sri Chaitanya Manobishta Stapita Yena Bhutale Sayan Rupa Kadamaya Dadati Swampadantikan Vandi Hansi Guru Shitam Parakamalan Si Guru Vaishnavascha Sirupan Sakajatan Sahakana Raghunatan Tan Sajivan Sadvaitan Savadutan Parijana Saitan Sri Krishna Chaitanya Devan Sri Radha Krishna Pada Sahagana Lalita Sri Vishakavitamscha E Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpati Gopesha Gopika Kantu Radha Kanta Namastute Tapta Kanchana Gorange Radha Vrindavanishwari Vishabhanu Sute Devi Panamami Haripe Banchaka Patarubhyascha Kripa Sindhave Vacha Patitanam Pavanavebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo 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 Mahabodanyaya Krishna Pimarpadayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namani Gaurati Sinamam Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare Hare Anandarila Maya Vigraya Himavada Vichavisunaya Tasma Maha Premarasa Pradaya Chitanchandaya Namana Mastate Chitanchandaya Namana Mastate. So I thank everyone for coming to this evening's Bhagavad-Gita class. So a wonderful nightly discourse on the Srimad Bhagavad-Gita, the Song of God. So this chapter is the perfection of renunciation, the conclusion of the Bhagavad-Gita. The Lord Krishna's talks with his dear devotee Arjuna. So the Lord spoke about, there are about a total of 701 verses of the Bhagavad-Gita, and among those 700 verses, Sanjay gave introduction, and then Arjuna asked so many questions, and Lord Krishna spoke a total of 555 verses of the Bhagavad-Gita in this Gita. And of course, those talks of the Lord, these are not ordinary talks, because we can actually meditate on each of the verse that the Lord was uttering just by reciting any one of those verses. We can actually, one can attain the highest perfection of life, which is to attain the Supreme Lord, to attain the Supreme. The goal is to attain the Supreme Krishna, Prema Pumartamaha, to attain love of Krishna. That's the goal of life. Even though Bhagavad Gita may contain different topics, such as Kama Yoga, Jnana Yoga, Sankhya Yoga, different topics are there in the Bhagavad Gita, but the ultimate instruction is to surrender unto Krishna. This is in the previous two verses. The Lord talks about how to become absorbed unto Him. Actually, the Lord talks about the real purpose of hearing Bhagavad Gita is to really surrender unto Him. And the Lord said, "My as you surrender unto me, you have nothing to fear." Because sometimes when we hear about surrendering unto Krishna, we become afraid, because we have so many considerations, societies, family, everything, even our own existence. We have so much considerations. But Lord Krishna said, do not fear. Forget about all these different religiosities, Vanashram, this one, that one. Forget about all of them. You are none of those things anyway. You are Jiva, you are spirit, soul, part and parcel of me. Krishna says that. So just give up all dharma, everything. Saranam Mamikam Saranam Raja, that surrender unto me only. You have nothing else to fear. And those who still maintain a level of fearlessness, fearfulness, they still being afraid. They have some hold back, that, why I have to give up? Somebody say, give me $10, I'm going to give you $100 back. But you're very, very afraid that if I give you $10, how will I know that you're going to give me $100 back? So, the apprehension is there. So because of this apprehension, it's holding us back from surrendering unto God. And because of this, we never attain any perfection. So the Lord said, those who do not have faith in this path, they will never attain any perfection. So this is very, very important, especially to this verse that we are going to be reading today, whereby the Lord specifically talking about how this knowledge is not really meant for everybody. The knowledge of the Gita is not meant for everybody. This is going to be the point of discussion on this verse that we're reading today, about this text number 67. 67? Chapter 18. So chapter 18, text 67. So because the Lord has given all kind of instruction to Arjuna, now he's saying this. So we can all read together. Idam te natapakasya na bhakta ya kadachana na chachushu sabe vachan na cha mayo vyashuyati idam this te by you na never atapakskaya to one who is not austere na never abhaktaya to one who is not a devotee kadachana at any time na never cha also asususabe to one who is not engaged in devotional service bachan to be spoken na never cha also mam toward me ya anyone who abhyasuyati is envious. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada Ki. This confidential knowledge may never be explained to those who are not austere or devoted or engaged in devotional service, not to one who is envious of me. Purport. Persons who have not undergone the austerities of the religious process, who have never attempted devotional service in Krishna consciousness, who have not tended a pure devotee, and especially those who are conscious of Krishna only as a historical personality, or who are envious of the greatness of Krishna, should not be told this most confidential part of knowledge. It is, however, sometimes found that even demoniac persons who are envious of Krishna, worshipping Krishna in a different way, take to the profession of explaining Bhagavad-Gita in a different way to make business. But anyone who desires actually to understand Krishna must avoid such commentaries on Bhagavad-Gita. Actually, the purpose of Bhagavad-Gita is not understandable to those who are sensuous. Even if one is not sensuous, but is strictly following the disciplines enjoined in the very scripture, if he is not a devotee, he also cannot understand Krishna. And even when one poses himself as a devotee of Krishna, but is not engaged in Krishna conscious activities, he also cannot understand Krishna. There are many persons who envy Krishna because he has explained in Bhagavad Gita that he is the supreme and that nothing is above him or equal to him. There are many persons who are envious of Krishna. Such persons should not be told of Bhagavad Gita, for they cannot understand. There is no possibility of faithless persons understanding Bhagavad Gita and Krishna. Without understanding Krishna from the authority of a pure devotee, one should not try to comment upon Bhagavad Gita. It's a very powerful purpose. Very, very powerful purpose. You know, idante natapakashya, na bhakta yakadachana, na chasusravi bacha, na cha manyo biasuyati. This knowledge, confidential knowledge, may never be explaining to those who are not austere or devoted or engaged in devotional service, nor to one who is envious of me. We know that there are many Bhagavad Gitas with so-called commentaries, which are there. Even before Srila Prabhupada presented the Bhagavad Gita as it is, before Prabhupada came to the West and gave this Gita as it is, or presented the Bhagavad Gita the way, following the line of the disciplines of section. But previous to that, you know, like you go to any average bookstore in the West, even here in India also, you go to any average bookstore, you will find so many Bhagavad Gitas on the shelf. Not Bhagavad Gita as it is. Many Gitas are there. You can go to Borders, you go to Crossword, you go to, many bookstores, fancy ones. Especially in the Western countries, especially, you find big giant bookstores. Some of them, they're as big as a football field, you know. And then you have a special section, philosophy section, religious section. They will have so many Gitas there. But you can pick up any of those Gitas and read them. You will not know anything about Krishna. That's a fact. Even after Prabhupada presented Gita, even up to today, still, almost every year there's a new Gita you find on the market. But you pick up any of them, you will not know anything about Krishna. Why? Because it's been presented by non-devotees, those who are not surrendered unto Krishna. Because it's been presented by them, how can they benefit anyone? You know, they often say that what you don't have, you cannot give to anybody. If you don't possess devotional service to Krishna, how can you present it to anyone else to become devotee? If you're not a devotee of Krishna, you cannot convince other person to become devotee. Is it? It's a common logic. So when the Lord said that, my dear Arjuna, because you are my devotee, I'm giving you this knowledge because you are my devotee. Bhakto Shime Sakasheti, Krishna told Arjuna that because you are my devotee, I'm giving you this knowledge. So which means a non-devotee cannot understand this knowledge. It's just not practical. And as the Lord says here that a non-devotee, somebody who is envious, somebody who has no faith, should never even be told about this knowledge, should never even be instructed by this knowledge. Now, Bhagavad-Gita, we know it's a topmost, it's a science of God, which is spoken by God Himself. And yes, even though it's divided into 3 sections, whereby you have the Karma Yoga, you have Jnana Yoga, and then you have Bhakti-yoga. 3 sections are there. But there are also different levels of presentation which are there in the Bhagavad-Gita. Specifically, there are 5 levels of presentation. There are 5 levels of understanding that are discussed in the Bhagavad-Gita. Those 5 levels are, you have a general instruction whereby the Lord is just giving the general knowledge that is there. So there is the general instruction, and then there is Goya. Goya means confidential instruction, the confidential knowledge. Goya means the confidential. And then the number 3, there is Guyatara, whereby the Lord is giving secrets. Goya means confidential, and then the Guyatara means the more confidential instructions. And then there's Guyataman. Guyataman means the most secret instruction. And then Savaguyataman means the best of all secrets. So you will find these 5 levels of understanding in the Bhagavad Gita, from the ordinary instructions to the most confidential instructions. So in the ordinary instructions, whereby the Lord simply telling Arjuna of how to have in ordinary course of dealings, that if you want to develop self-realization, there is a path, there is a process that one has to follow. Especially in the chapter 6, text 17, the Lord is telling Arjuna that Yuktahara Viharasya, Yukta Chestaya Kamasu, Yukta Sopa Swapavalo Dashya, Yoga Bhavati Dukaha, that don't eat too much and also don't sleep too much, and be regulated in walking and recreation. Otherwise, you will not be able to attain that red yoga, which means one should not eat too much, or Yukta Rasya, Vibhadasya. So this is the general knowledge that the Lord is giving here. And then, of course, then there is the science of the soul, whereby the Lord is saying that Yatasyahi Dhruva Mityo, Dhruva Jana Mitachita, that any person who has taken his birth must die, and for one who is dead must also take birth. And then we also have that Nana Chindati Sastrani Naina Dahati Pavakaha Na China Klidayam Japo Na Sosoyati Marutaha, whereby the Lord said the soul cannot be cut into pieces, the soul cannot be armed by any weapon, cannot be burned by fire, not by immersing in water, not by withered by the wind. So the soul is eternal in this way. This is the general science of the soul. The soul is always always there. So therefore, because the soul is always there, what's the point of lamentation? What's the point of lamenting for the soul? So this is part of the general instruction that is there. Let me see. Oh, sorry. And then and of course, for those for those who are on the part of the self-realization, he mentioned that Yanisa Sava Bhutana, Tashan Jagati Samyati, Yashan Jagati Bhutani, Shanisa Pashatumani, that when normal people are sleeping, that is the one, those who are self-realized, they are awake. And those, the time of sleep for those who are self-realized, that's the time when, like for instance, just like we all wake up in the morning during Mangalati, we attend Mangalati. But that's why normal people, they go to sleep, they sleep deeply. And when we are taking rest, 9, 10, 11 o'clock in the evening, that's when the sense enjoyers, that's when they go to disco. They want to have a good time, So therefore, Yanisa Savabhutani, Tashan Jagati Samyami. So the time of awakening for the self-realized is the time of sleep for those who are materialistic, absorbed, So in this way, the difference is being pointed out among those who are pursuing the path of self-realization and those who are simply pursuing the path of sense gratification. The point is there. So, according in the chapter 2 of the Bhagavad-Gita, and also up to chapter 6, you'll be seeing many of these points of the Bhagavad-Gita. And then there is and then the Lord start talking about the Brahma Gyan, the spiritual knowledge. So in this Brahma, whereby when Arjuna asking, he said that Stita Pragyansya Kabasa Samadhi Stasha Kesava Sito Di Kim Prabhasita Kim Ashta Brajate Kim. So Arjuna is asking, what are the symptoms of one whose consciousness is absorbed in spirituality? How does he speak? How does he sit? And how does he walk? So for one who's practicing, who's actually absorbed in spiritual practice, what are his symptoms? What is his mood? How does he go about in his ordinary, course of dealing? So of course, then the Lord is giving his answer, which we find in the later part of chapter 2. And then, of course, in the chapter 18, the Lord was saying that Brahma Bhuta Pasharatma, Nasochati Nakanshati, Sama Savesu Bhutesu Ma Bhakti Labate Param. So the Lord is saying that for one who is situated in Brahman, sees spirituality everywhere, and he think because I'm also Brahman, so he always he see everything on Brahman, and he does not lament, no Sochati, no Kankshati, no lamentation, no hankering, and he sees the equality in everything. Just like the Lord said, Vidya, what is that? Yeah, Vidya Vinay Sampani, Brahmani Gavi Ashtini, Suni Chava Sapakecha Padita Samadashina, whereby he sees the equality in all beings. He sees that the soul is there, the same soul that is there in the body of a Brahmana, or body of elephant, Brahmana, elephant, Chanda, dogs, dog eater. You see the same in everything. So therefore, such a person, is always equiposed. He's always equiposed, such a person. So that is the confidential knowledge of the Bhagavad-Gita. And then the Lord talk about when there's more confidential knowledge. Guyatara means the confidential knowledge, whereby this you find in the 9th chapter of the Bhagavad-Gita, whereby the Lord telling Arjuna Nandan, he said, now I'm going to give you this most confidential knowledge. The most confidential knowledge, whereby, chapter 2, chapter 9 is there, whereby the Lord is actually talking about himself. He talks about the material world. He talks about, the Lord actually specifically talks about the devotees. And then the Guyataman means the confidential knowledge. Guyataman means the most confidential knowledge, whereby the Lord is talking about the pure bhakti, which is we find in the chapter 12. The chapter 12 is all about pure bhakti. Bhakti to it's talking about bhakti ras. And then the best of all confidential knowledge is being discussed towards the later part of chapter 18, whereby Savaguyataman Boya, Shinome Paraman Bacha, Isto Shime Dudanichi, Tato Bashamites. He said, now, hear from me the best of all confidential knowledge. Hear from me. And what is the best confidential knowledge? Mamma Baba Madbakto, Managing non Namaskuro, Mam Evashasi, Satyamte, Patijano, Priyoshime. That because, Arjun, because you are very, very dear to me, I am telling you this most hidden of all instructions. And what is that? So the Lord said, always think of me. Always. Mamana Bhava. Bhava, actually, when we discuss the word Bhava, it's not just ordinary thinking. Which means the thought of the Lord with the deep affection, with the deep feeling that is there. Just like the copies of Vrindavan, they actually make up the typical example of how someone think of Krishna. Because 24 hours a day, they're always thinking of Krishna 24 hours a day. Nothing is more dear to them in this world except Krishna. Krishna is their only lovable object. Their dearmost object is Krishna. Krishna is the Prananath. He is the Lord of their life. There's nothing else that is beyond. Just like one time when Narada Muni asked Satyabhama to give him what is most dear to her. So Narada Muni once asked Satyabhama that, you give me what is most dear to you. Satyabhama said, well, the only thing that is dear to me is Krishna. Nothing else is dear to me, not all this so-called wealth. Only Krishna is dear to me. What is dear to me? So this is that is the completely absorbing Krishna. Nothing else is dearmost. So this chapter, this 1865 of the Bhagavad-Gita, this is actually the best of all Gita instruction, the most confidential knowledge of all instructions. And this verse has been given so much commentaries by so many great acharyas in terms of each verse can, each line, each word of this verse can actually be analyzed. How can one be thinking of Krishna always? How can one see Krishna as one's dearmost, the dearmost object? Prayer. Krishna said that, he said, I'm telling you this because bhakti-yoga priyosim, because you are my devotee. Not just my devotee, you are very, very dear to me. Prayer means very, very dear. When we say prayer, dear, dearmost. So therefore, Arjuna is hearing this knowledge from Krishna because Arjuna is very, very dear to Krishna. And of course, we know that Arjuna really doesn't need to hear this knowledge because he's already a devotee of Krishna. He's been a Krishna devotee since his birth. He and Krishna, they used to travel together, they will sleep together. So many, even when the time came for Krishna's sister to get married, and Subhadra Devi to get married, so Krishna himself can only make arrangement for Arjuna to get married to Subhadra, even though Balaram he has some different ideas, but Krishna himself, make arrangements so that Arjuna got married to Subhadra. So we have, because, and when the time came for the battle of Kurukshetra, at that time, Krishna had said that I'm not going to fight with anybody. I'm not going to fight. I'm not going to hold any weapon. So that time, in Krishna's chamber, Arjuna came. And also Duryodhana had also came. So both Duryodhana and Arjuna, they both came to the chamber. So Arjuna was sitting at Krishna's lotus feet, and Duryodhana was sitting at the head of Krishna. So both of them announced their arrival. At that time, Krishna was resting. So both of them announced their arrival, and Krishna opened his eye. Naturally, he saw Arjuna, because Arjuna is always at Krishna's feet. So Krishna said, okay, both of you have come now. for this battle that's going to take place between the Kauravas and the Pandavas, I'm not going to fight. I'm not going to hold any weapon. But at the same time, I've got my army, the Narayan Sena. So now you can make a choice. You can choose my army, Narayan Sena, which are the formidable army, undefeatable army, they call Narayan Sena. Or you can choose me, who is going to be completely unarmed. I'm not going to hold any weapon, and I'm not going to fight. So you can choose me, both of you. You can choose, make a choice. So Arjuna said, because Arjuna came first. When Krishna asked Arjuna that you make a choice, so Duryodhana was feeling, he's going to choose Krishna's army, Arjuna said, Krishna, I can only choose you. If I have you, I have everything. Why should I choose your army? And of course, Duryodhana is so happy. Now I can get Krishna's army. He was so happy. Now, he considered himself to be now, he's going to be victorious in this battle that's come to about. But Arjuna was constant only, it's Krishna, I can only have you. If I have you, I have everything. What that is important for me, except you, Krishna. So therefore, and of course at the end of the Bhagavad-Gita, whereby Sanjaya said that Yatra Yugaswaro Krishna, Yatra Patu Danodara, Tata Sri Vijayamoti, Dhruvaniti Matima said that whatever there's Krishna, whatever there's Arjuna, there's always be victory, everything, wealth and everything. That's my supreme opinion. So therefore, we have all these various instructions in the Bhagavad Gita. And this Bhagavad Gita has been described as being the cream of all Vedic instruction, the cream of all Vedic knowledge. So that's what in the Gita Upanishad, in the Gita Mahatma, vibrated by Sankaracharya himself, whereby he says, Savapanishadu Gavo, Dugda Gopalanandana, Pato Vatsasudi Bhokta, Dugdan Gita Amrita Mahat, that this Bhagavad Gita, this is it's compared to the cow. It's compared to the cow, because normally when there's cow, especially the Kamadhenu, it gives everything. It's the fulfillment of all desires. And the milk of the cow is Gopa. Krishna himself is the milk of the cow is Gopa. Gopalanandana, Gopa. So Krishna is the Gopa. Krishna is the milk of the cow. And Vatsa means the calf. So Arjuna is the calf, whereby Krishna is is making the cow, and Arjuna is drinking it. And then normally when the cow is milk, and the calf drink the milk, and then the calf become very satisfied, and then the cowherd, he keep milking the cow. And who are those drinking those cow the milk? Dugdam Gitamita Mahat. So the great devotees, they are drinking this nectarian. So that's why the Bhagavad Gita is always ever relishable by the pure devotees, by the great devotees of the Lord. So here, the Lord is saying here that this knowledge should never be explained to those who are not devoted, to those who are envious, to those who are not austere. Idam te natapaksha na bhaktaya kadachana na chasushabes bachan na chamanyo vyasuyate. Now, even though there are many people who are actually very, very austere, especially if you go to the Himalayas, you go to Rishikesh, or many places. There are so many people who are performing so many austerities. So many yogis, they will in the cold of winter, when it's very, very cold like anything, but they will dip themselves in the cold water. They will submerge themselves in the cold water and perform austerity. And also in the summertime, when it's blazing hot, they will surround themselves with fire. Like if you have been to the Kumbh Mela, You can see, we see so many yogis who have been performing austerity for many years. Many of them, they don't eat food, they don't eat. They only survive only on hair. So many, you've seen so many yogis there. But the Lord says, it doesn't, even though, the Lord said those who are not austere, they should not be explained the Bhagavad-Gita. But here, so does that mean that all those personalities who are very austere, they perform so much austerities, so they should be, the Gita should be explained to them? No, the Lord said, no, the Acharya said that, no, they should not, because just being austere is not the criteria for hearing Bhagavad-Gita. It's not the criteria. So there was one time during Mahaprabhu's Leela in Navadvip, during the Mahaprabhu's Leela. So when Mahaprabhu started his nightly kirtans, that time only pure devotees were allowed to be inside the kirtan, because the Lord, he will dance all night long along with his dear devotees, Shiva, Sachaya, so many, Mukundas, Advaita Chaya, Haridas Thakur, so many devotees. So, and the Lord gave instruction that no one should be allowed here. No one should be allowed to come inside and be in the kirtan. So this is the Lord's strict instruction that no one should be allowed. So therefore, devotees, along with the Lord, they will have a nightly instruction. The nightly kirtan, ecstatic kirtan, loving, it's called prem kirtan, not just ordinary kirtan, prem kirtan, whereby there's kirtan going on and everybody's relishing it. But there was one time, one Brahmana, he wanted so much to make the kirtan, he wanted to be there so much. So he asked, because this Brahmana, he only survive only on milk. Very austere Brahmana, very austere. He drink only milk. But this Brahmana, he wanted to be so much, he wanted to witness the kirtan of Mahaprabhu. So, and then he approached Srivas Thakur that, please allow me to be in Mahaprabhu's kirtan. I want to see this kirtan. But Shiva said, well, Mahaprabhu had given a strict instruction that no one should come to the kirtan, no one should be allowed inside. So this Brahmana, he kept begging Srivas Thakur. Shiva said, okay, I'm going to hide you in a closet. I will hide you there, and then you can witness the dancing of Mahaprabhu's, you can witness the dancing of the Lord. So this Brahmana, so he was hidden, he was put in a closet like this, whereby, and then the kirtan so the kirtan started. And then so much kirtan was going on. And then Mahaprabhu said, I'm not feeling anything tonight. What's going on? I'm not feeling the ecstasy. I'm not feeling any bhav. What is going on here? And he asked Srivas that, what is going on? Initially, Srivas had to say that, well, the dear Lord, we don't know. And then Srivas said, well, there is one Brahmana here. And this Brahmana is very austere. And this Brahmana desires so much to see your dancing. So therefore, kindly excuse this Brahmana. So the Lord became angry, because Shiva told him that this Brahmana is very austere, you only drink milk and all that, but you want to see your kirtan. The Lord said, throw him out. What qualification does he think he has to witness my kirtan? What qualification does he have? So he was told, okay, send him out. So this Brahmana was very grateful that he was able to see the Lord dancing. So the Brahmana was sent out. So when he was being sent out, so the Lord called him back. The Lord said that, do you think that you can attain Krishna, love of Krishna, just by drinking milk? You think that that's the qualification, that's the requirement for attaining Krishna, for attaining the grace of Krishna Bhakti? No, Krishna is not attained by your austerity. Krishna is only attained only by pure bhakti, only by pure, when the heart is completely submitted unto him, not by your so-called performance of austerity. So the Lord does not approve the so-called austerity that people perform, whereby they can, get the so-called bhakti. So therefore, so the Lord saying here that explaining the purpose we are hearing, that even though someone may be a scholar, may have been writing so many books on the Bhagavad-Gita, but such persons, they have no qualification to hear Bhagavad-Gita. And also there are many persons who have heard about the qualities of Lord Krishna. They've heard so many qualities. How Krishna is the Supreme Lord, how is, the whole world worship him. But there are many people who have heard this quality, still they are very envious of him. They're envious of him, just like we read the story of this Vasudev. There's one fellow, Vasudev, what's his name? There's one fellow, you read in the later part of 10th canto. Shringara, Vasudev, Shringara. No. Vasudev, Shringara. His name is Shringara Vasudev. His name is Shringara Vasudev. So this fellow, he started claiming himself to be God, to be Krishna. He said, I'm the real Vasudev. I'm the real Vasudev, and this Vasudev Krishna is a fake one. Pandrat. Yeah, Pandrat, yeah. He said, I'm the real Vasudev Krishna. And then he had some artificial extra to hand. So Krishna said, okay, you come. Let us meet. So this fellow, he tried to meet Krishna on the battlefield. And Krishna sent him his chakra, And of course, he could not hold the chakra, so the chakra simply, cut off his head. So, there are many persons who are actually envious of the Lord, especially Mayavadis. The Mayavadis are known to be envious of the Lord, because the Mayavadis who say that the Lord has no form. He has no form, So this is due to envy. This is the envy of the Lord. So especially the Mahaprabhu said that Mayavadi Bhasha Sunile or Savanas, that if we read the commentaries of the Mayavadis, we become contaminated. Everything becomes spoiled. If you read the commentaries of the Bhagavad-Gita of the Mayavadis, we may find some literature that was so very beautifully composed, very beautiful. So many books are there, but because these are the kind of books which have been presented by the Mayavadis, by the non-devotees, then we become contaminated by them. Everything is spoiled. Even so-called poetries, even just like nowadays, we have so many movies, especially here in India, which have been presented. You can see, Mahabharata, Ramayana, all these things. And everyone is completely captivated by them. Oh, Ramayana has been shown on the. Oh, let's go watch Ramayana. Let's go watch. But these movies, the actors or the director, everyone, they are non-devotees, because the same person who's playing the role of Arjuna, if he's paid a big amount of money, the same person will play the role of Duryodhana. It's all about money, correct? If he's ready to play the role of Duryodhana, if he's given a bigger amount of money. So that is the thing. So when we watch this thing, we actually become contaminated. We think that, oh, this is good, we can be entertained. We actually get it contaminated. So the real devotees, the serious devotees, they will not be wasting their time in watching all those so-called serials. After all, how many devotees have those serials made? How many devotees? None. I mean, you from Bombay, Krabhajan Prabhu. That's where they produce all those movies. Have you seen any devotees? How many of them walk into a temple in Jerusalem? I want to be a devotee of Krishna. Because I just finished watching the Ramayana. I just finished watching the Mahabharata. Now I want to become a devotee of Krishna. How many? No. So this is the reality here. That as devotee, we have to be serious. So we should not hear the Mahabharatas. We should not read their books, because it will do us no good. And they should not be instructed. Someone who is envious, who is envious of Krishna, should not be taught this confidential knowledge of Krishna. Now, of course, okay, we are preaching. And how do we differentiate between those who are serious and those who are not serious? How do you differentiate? So, yes, we have to preach, but when we are preaching, we are giving general knowledge. Okay, you know this body, you know, just general knowledge. The general knowledge we can give. We can do general preaching, but you don't see someone there and start telling them all the confidential aspect of bhakti. No, that you don't do. But you can give somebody general knowledge just to get them to think of their materialistic ways. But you read a confidential topic, you know, we don't give them, because you will not be benefited by it, and they themselves they will misunderstand. Because if an unqualified person is taught about the confidential pastimes of Lord Krishna, that person will misuse it. That person will think that maybe they should enjoy, especially if you are teaching someone that, okay, you know, this is how Krishna plays pastime with the gopis and all that. And so somebody starts thinking, oh, maybe I can also try to be the same. Let me try to enjoy women. After all, Krishna is enjoying women. Let me also try to enjoy women, you know. So this we see all the time. This we see. So therefore, this knowledge is very special. It's a very sacred knowledge. So the devotee preacher, they have to be very, very careful on who they preach to, which means the qualification must be there, the assessment must be there, you know. Assessment must be there, and the real criteria as mentioned here is the faith must be there. The faith is mentioned that Yasha Deve Parabhakti Yata Deve Tata Guru Tashanti Prakriti Yata, what is that? Prakshanti Mahatmana, that only unto those great souls who have developed the faith must be there. The faith in the process, the simplicity must be there. That must be there in order for one to really, you know, have the real understanding of bhakti. Because when the real understanding is there, then, and the faith has been developed in the process, then it actually enters the heart. Just like, for instance, like Prabhupada came to the Western countries, and he was, he was preaching, and those sincere souls who have really developed the inclination to hear from a pure devotee of Krishna, so by hearing, because of their faith in him, they are hearing, and then by such hearing, more faith is developed. And when more faith is developed, then one engage in bhakti. It's as mentioned that Adol Shraddha in the beginning, there's a faith, one hears, and if more faith is developed, and then one engage in bhakti sadhana. And when there's engagement in bhakti sadhana, then all those anarthas start coming out, start going away. And when the anarthas goes out, then rati begins, ashakti begins, attachment to the Lord begins. Because we cannot develop attachment to the Lord if we are still full of anarthas, you know. So this so many wonderful explanations are there, and this is a very, very, very important thing that the Lord is talking about. That this knowledge this confidential knowledge should not be explained to those who are not devotees, who are not austere devotees, or those who is envious of the Lord. So that is there. So I'm going to stop here. If there's a question or comment.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
You were giving the example of Duryodhana and Arjuna went to Krishna.
Mm-hmm.
So I would like to know Duryodhana, what he was thinking about Krishna and what was, according to him, the position of Krishna.
Well, of course, Duryodhana, he knows that Krishna is a great personality. He's a great personality. That's why I went to him, you know. And also, there is also a relationship between Duryodhana and Krishna, because his daughter was married to Krishna's son, Samba, Duryodhana's daughter. So there's some relationship is there. And also, you know, he knows that Krishna is a great person, but he did not accept Krishna just like the Pandavas accept Krishna, that he is the Supreme Lord, Lord of all. You just know him as a great person. That's all. That was his fault. Because if he accept the law, if he accept Krishna, as the Pandavas accepted Krishna, then he will not be envious of Krishna's devotee. But, this is the Lord's Leela. When Duryodhana and Arjuna, they both went to Krishna. Krishna said, okay, you make a choice. And of course, the Lord knows Duryodhana will never take Krishna, he will never, because he's not a devotee, he wasn't a devotee. He will never do that. And then so, of course, Arjuna being naturally a devotee, obviously, he accepted Krishna, he chose Krishna because he's naturally a devotee. The Lord is everything to a devotee. The Lord is everything. So, any other points to consider?
How do we normally identify Mayavadi Prabhu? How do we identify Mayavadi, a person's Mayavadi or not? Is it from external appearance or from the way he practices spiritual? Not
external appearance. It's hard to do with the way of practice. Even sometimes there are many persons who are actually worshiping the Lord, but they may actually be Mayavadis.
Right.
Yeah, they may actually be Mayavadis because there are those who engage in what we call a Panchopasana. Panchopasana, there are 5 processes of worship, Panchopasana, by which Mayavadis engages in. And one of those is to worship the Lord in order to attain the impersonal Brahmajyoti. So there's one time during the pastimes of Mahaprabhu, the Lord, sometime when the Lord was giving the benediction to all devotees during the 24 hours Mahaprakash, and that time every devotee has gotten the Lord's mercy except Mukunda Datta. And Mukunda Datta is one is very dear most to the Lord. He was very dear, as he always singing nicely, very, very dear to all the Vaishnavas. But all the Vaishnavas, they are saying that Mukunda is not here. Why the Lord has not called Mukunda? Why is not here in the Lord's presence? So every devotee, they went to the Lord and asked him that, why the Lord, Mukunda is very dear to all devotees. Why is he not being called into your presence? And the Lord said, I don't want to see him. I don't want to see that wretched fellow. I don't want to see him at all. So every devotee was surprised. You don't want to see Mukunda? He's such a very dear, the way he sings, The Lord said, I don't want to see him. This fellow, he called himself a devotee, but at the same time, he's secretly associating with the Mayavadis. So I don't want to see him. So then devotees, they went to relate this to Mukunda, that this is the reason why the Lord is not calling you. So Mukunda was so morose, so unhappy, said that, please ask my Lord, when can I see him? When can I be able to be in his presence? So the Lord replied, said that, tell him that not for another 1,000,000 years before you can see him. So they related this message to Mukunda. Mukunda was so happy, he said, oh, now I have a chance. At least in another 1,000,000 lifetime, I'll be able to see the Lord. No, he was dancing, he was so happy. So, and of course, then the Lord of course called him, he was happy. And then the Lord was saying that, sometimes people, they have they want to pay the obeisances to the Lord, and at the same time, they want to get up and, and smack him smack the Lord on his head. So the Mayavadi's position is like that. They worship the Lord, and at the same time, they want to deny his personality. They want to deny his personal existence. So even many of us, we may even be Mayavadis in our behavior, because we don't know what's going on in our heart, by how we relate to other Vaishnavas, all these things. So we don't even know, so it's something that is very deeply ingrained. It's very, very deep, this Mayavad. So it's very deeply ingrained. So, of course, what's most important is the simplicity of devotee. And of course, if we get the Lord's mercy, it's this Mayavadi tendency within us can be, it can be removed. But the Mayavadi is not, and of course, there are some Mayavadi actually visible, like Vivekananda, Ramakrishna. These are big Mayavadis, of course. We know them. But among the Vaishnavas, there may also be Mayavadi. Just like Ramachandra Khan. Ramachandra Khan was a disciple of Madhavendra Puri. Even though he was a disciple of Madhavendra Puri, but he was telling his guru at the end of his life, that just meditate on Brahman. Because Madhavendra Puri was crying, "Hey Krishna, I've not attained you. How can I attain you?" And this Ramachandra Khan came and telling his guru that, just meditate on Brahman. So of course the guru became so angry. He said that, "You wretched, just disappear from here. I don't want to see you. I don't want to see you here." So even among devotees, you could see great Mayavadis like that. So that is all. That is all there.
If somebody is putting both demigods and the Supreme Lord in the same platform, what category come under? Is it a Mayavadi category?
That's a percentage as offenders.
So recently, one temple was opened. The yogi also came. I went and saw the darshan. They put Devi, they put Ramakrishna, Hanuman, Radha Krishna, and Hanuman is a separate altar.
Yeah, we don't waste our time. They are offenders.
They are having all Vaishnava, they are having their Guru Parampara. They are wearing all Vaishnava.
Yeah, they are mixed up. They are offenders. Anybody who think that, just like in our 10 offenses of the holy name where we chant.
Will they be called as a Mayavadi or because they don't believe, they don't have a faith that Lord is a...
No, they're not even Mayavadi. They are offenders. They're not even Mayavadi. They are offenders. Aparadis. They are aparadis. Because Mayavadis, but they are actually those kind of people, they who think the Lord and the demigod are the same. They are offenders, the great apparatus.
They are only for public, they are putting up the show like this, they put all the deities. But inside, they don't have...
No, the point is that a serious devotee will not do that. A serious devotee will not... No, the point is this. A serious devotee will not do that. Prabhupada never taught us that.
No, I'm talking about this category. The Mayavadis, they don't have full faith of the Lord's form. They just for public, because I went once, I talked to one person, he's doing deity worship, but he was speaking Mayavadi philosophy, and he was saying, that's just for the people, the lower platform. When you come to higher platform, these are nothing, these deity forms.
So these are Mayavadis, so we don't waste time with them. We stay far away from them, that's the thing.
So only when you speak, we come to know, otherwise we don't know.
Therefore, you come to our temple, you talk to devotees, easy. Anybody who think that, okay, let me watch a bunch of demigods so that I can get some money. It's...
Because they put a big tilak, I thought, okay, there will be some Vaishnavas.
No, they are not Vaishnavas. No, they are not. So many fake Vaishnavas are there. Fake. So we don't deal with fakes. The real Vaishnavas is very, very rare. Very, very rare, the real Vaishnavas. Okay.
10 lakh donation Prabhu from US. The person that is staying for 9 months in the US and 3 months in India. In charge. So
anyway,
they call him as a Jagat Guru. When they introduce, they say Jagat Guru. Some name.
They can call him anything they want to call him. Still, it's a rascal. So we don't waste it. Prabhupada always say they are rascals. So, so many Jagat Gurus are there. They don't. Just chant Hare Krishna, that's all. Be atoned. I mean, no, as I said before, we have to preach to people. After all, we are doing book distribution. We're giving out the books, read this book and all that. So, that's, you said just the basic knowledge is there. You're not this body, you're spiritual, you're part and parcel of God. And so you give them the book. That you can do. But you're not teaching about the confidential aspect of it, which is there. The confidential aspect is what the Lord is saying. This should not be taught to anyone. There's a confidential aspect. But the basic knowledge can be taught. You can give, just like we give so many classes in the universities and all that. We spoke general philosophy. That's all. So the general philosophy can be taught, can be spoken. The general philosophy. So there is no contamination there.
We start with general philosophy, but the question and answers will go towards why you are worshipping only Krishna, and then we have to start with who is the Supreme Lord.
So that's why you have to be an expert preacher yourself. You have to be expert. You have to really know what you are doing about. General philosophy. Okay, who is Krishna? We can tell you who Krishna. Krishna is God. He's the Supreme Lord. Now, if you have a different idea who God is, let us know. But from the scriptures, it said that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So this is what the Shastra said. So that we can always preach to people. But you don't tell about Krishna Lila, Krishna with the gopis, all these things, That you don't talk about. There's so much you can talk about. The philosophy of Bhagavad-Gita, the philosophy of Upanishad, so much you can talk about. Like that. Okay? But, yourself, just be convinced yourself. No, you have to be very, very expert in how you present. You have to know your audience. So the time, place, and circumstance, that must be determined. So that's why it's very important to be an expert preacher. Like that. Okay, anyway, thank you very much. Because it's almost time for your arti. Srila Prabhupada ki. Hare Krishna.